My mother was badly shaken at a tragic misfortune in 1944, when my brother met with a drowning accident witnessed by her from the shore. One of the other devotees, Chaganalal Yogi, suggested her to visit the ashram. When she saw Bhagavan, she was so much impressed that she came back to take the whole family to the ashram. At that time, I was 18. Now I'm 81. I had no interest in Bhagavan or his darshan. As I could not defy my mother, I bowed to him with folded hands and closed eyes. But as I raised my head, Bhagavan looked at me, and in that very second, I was annihilated totally by his gaze. I didn't exist any longer, and there was a great sense of release and peace. I felt a soft moonlight around me, with no boundaries and barriers. It was as if I was lost in a sky of light and peace. I don't know how many minutes or seconds I was in that state. It seemed a lifetime. When I came back to my material existence, I could not accept what had happened. We stayed 5 more days, and I had Bhagavan's darshan many times, but that experience never got repeated. The event, however, made me think very deeply and continuously along this line. What was it? And how could I be in that state constantly? One day during our stay, we, along with other devotees, were watching Bhagavan going for his walk on the hill right after lunch. Suddenly, my 2-year-old nephew left us and caught hold of Bhagavan's walking stick. Everybody was aghast. The child was called back again and again and asked not to bother Bhagavan. He just wouldn't listen and went on staring at Bhagavan. But as soon as Bhagavan put his hand on his head, he let go of the stick and started weeping. Not loudly, but tears were streaming down his eyes, while he just stood looking at Bhagavan. I didn't see Bhagavan again until 1950. There was a heavy bandage on his arm, and people filed by, single file, quietly. When I came near him, I couldn't help saying, "Bhagavan, call me again." With infinite compassion and immense love, he looked at me and said, "Sorry, sorry," which means okay. Now I have come back after 57 years, and I am sure that he has called me. It is a very strange thing that I could not feel the absence of Bhagavan. Perhaps it is because during all those years, I have always felt that he was near me. I have at some level communicated with him and have received his grace. When you are facing a big problem and you do not know where to turn or what to do, then Bhagavan really gives the answer in your heart of hearts. I may be anywhere. Bhagavan is always with me, and it is all due to the first wonderful moment when he looked at me. My mother used to rent a cottage near the ashram, stay for 2 or 3 months at a time, and meditate very regularly. What she experienced, she spoke little. Back home, once she suffered a paralytic stroke and was not able to speak. After a month or so, her speech came back, but it was halting. Everybody was depressed about it. One evening, I happened to recite 1 or 2 lines of the Upadisa Saram to her. Mother picked up the recitation and concluded the 30 verses without a single mistake. After this, she was able to recite Bhagavan's other works and slowly became normal again. In her last illness, she made me promise that for this request, Bhagavan should be with her when she goes, and I was to be responsible for this request. And by God's grace and Bhagavan's blessings, It so happened that during her last moments, we could hold a big framed photograph of Bhagavan before her eyes. She quietly gazed at it, slightly turned her face, and passed away.